Okay, let's talk Angels baseball.
They're struggling like we knew they would. Kids are starting to hit. Some of the pitchers are better than other of the pitchers, and now they don't have their manager. Ron Washington has stepped aside for an interim period. They don't know how long. Maybe the correct term is indefinite period. He's got health issues. Evidently was fatigued, sick, couldn't sleep, felt really bad, had problems breathing on the East Coast road trip. He has stepped aside indefinitely, undergo a whole battery of tests. The Angels are not saying whether it is heart-related, whether it's a viral infection, etc., but he is away from the Angels for a chunk of time. And of course, he's not young. He's 73 years of age. So Ron Washington steps away from the Angels. Atlanta, their season has just been ripped by injuries. And now they lose the ace of the staff, Chris Sale, fractured rib, trying to get a comebacker off the mound. He's gone indefinitely. I mean, this is a team that started without Acuna, had the horrible start to the season, lost Spencer Strider. They've been running uphill all year, just have not been able to get the whole team on the field. Athletics. I guess the novelty has worn off. The shine has worn off. The Athletics in Sacramento, playing in that minor league stadium, over the weekend drew the 3 worst crowds they've drawn. The A's have the worst home record of any team in Major League Baseball. Poor Mark Kotsay. They won 8,600, 8,500, 8,300, 3 straight home games this weekend.
That's brutal.
By the way, today at 8 o'clock this morning, they turned the first shovel of dirt in Las Vegas for the construction of the new Athletics baseball stadium. But that's 3 years down the road, so things are not going well there. So Angels, Atlanta, A's. Last topic, New York Times. We lost a really good guy in San Diego. Scott Miller passed away over the weekend. Scott Miller, longtime baseball columnist, beat writer, came from the Minnesota Twins beat, came to work in Los Angeles, covered the Angels. Then he became their national correspondent for the LA Times. Spent a lot of time down here covering San Diego Padre baseball. Actually lived in the Carlsbad area. Went to work for CBS Sportsline, did a lot of freelance stuff for Fox. He's authored multiple books. He just finished a book on the history of baseball managers. All this while he was fighting prostate cancer. And I've known him a long time. Classy guy, gentleman guy, friendly guy to everybody. A wordsmith, if you will. Very, very good writer. Just really sad. And I'll tell you a sidebar piece to the story, because it really has not been told. Scott told me about this right before Christmas, and then I'd stayed in contact with him. And the last time I talked to him was in February. And he was fighting a fight. They were doing some experimental stuff. He had pancreatic cancer. And he fought a bitter fight with it. And he stood tall in the face of this adversity. Anyhow, he gets diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. 48 hours later, his wife got diagnosed with breast cancer.
No way.
Yes. They went through the treatment simultaneously, and they were strength factors for each other. It was really something. Yeah. So, it's been tough on Kim. It's been tough on Gretchen. And Scott had reached a plateau. So far, so good. And then he had a setback. And obviously had a setback. I think it was the end of March. And he was in and out of the hospital. And then I had heard his family had come in from the upper Midwest and was here. So he passed away fairly quickly once the pancreatic cancer reappeared. But what a nice man. My God, he was just class. So I felt really sad all week. And I messaged back and forth, talked to a couple different baseball guys, because we all kind of ran in the same circle from a media standpoint. So you Google Scott Miller, baseball writer, and he wrote his book through all the time. He was going through all the cancer treatments. He was continuing to write that book, and it finally came out. May 24th, I think it came out. It's called The Managers. So tough setback. Nice man. John, you got baseball to talk about.
Scott Miller, I just remember him. I mean, I've obviously read some of his articles, but he was sometimes he was on the pregame show for the Padres. Yeah. I don't know if it was during the Bally's era or the Fox Sports San Diego era, but he was just, yeah, he was all class. And dude was very, very well versed, not just in our local team, but in league wide. So yeah, rest in peace to him. He's a loss for sure. We've been losing a lot of great ones in the world of sports medially. And then, by the way, the Angels, the Braves, and the A's. I mean, that board up there on the screen looks kind of cool with the 3 A's. I like that. Now in Anaheim, who's taken over for Ron Washington temporarily? And do you think he may have to step down permanently?
Well, they're not talking about that. They hope he'll be back before the end of the season, but at this point, they're not detailing at all what's wrong with him, whether it might be a heart valve or whether it's a viral infection. But evidently, he was really sick on this last Angel road trip, so he's voluntarily stepped aside. Tough call. Speaking of that, I want to salute the Padres. Can we get a picture of this, John? Okay, I'm going to hold this up.
Okay. Let's do this. This is a whole separate story here. Let me
anyhow,
change the graphic.
This
here.
is what the Padres did.
Let me see if I can get this a little closer.
Okay. The Padres on Sunday put a bouquet of flowers at the seat that Scott Miller always sat at.
I think we can see that on the screen.
Yep,
yeah, that's like from the media booth up there.
It's from the press box. Padres did something really, I thought, very, very thoughtful and very classy. And everybody that was in that press box that walked by instantly knew what it represented.
Cool.
So I salute the Seidler family for what they did. Scotty, real good guy. Okay, that's all things baseball. We got